but we wanted to create a space that could double as a sofa area. So you could put the pillows back here, have a seat, watch TV. If you are a family staying in here, there's an extra bed for a guest or children, as well as the main bed up front.
I love this style, really love. And interesting for me, how much she spent on this house money. Yes.
On this side of the 1975 Airstream, we have a large bar top that can double as a workspace, whether you're here for vacation or for work.
Hello everyone, my name is Alex and I'm studying English, and today I will watch with you interesting video about tiny houses in USA. And I want to say you also thank you very much for your subscriptions, for your supporting. This week was exciting for me because our channel has become larger, bigger, and we have now more than 1,000 subscribers. I'm really glad about it. And let's go. We will watch video with subtitles and you can support me. You can leave a like and subscribe to me. Okay, let's go.
In this week's video, we're going to visit one of the largest and best tiny house communities that I've ever seen. The owner is going to take us on a tour of the community and explain why he focused on creating shared spaces. And finally, we're going to step inside one of the beautiful renovated vintage trailers that they have on site for nightly rentals. So let's take a tour.
Make this house our tiny home.
Oh, I love this coast. Wonderful.
Hi, I'm Josh. I'm the owner of Tiny Tranquility. We're a tiny home community on the Oregon coast. We've got 43 sites, 35 of which I think are occupied currently by tiny homes, mostly people living here in the park. We do have a handful of folks who are essentially using their tiny home as a beach house.
Oh, I love style. Every house have own style, and it is really interesting. Yes, and I love this.
We do have a handful of folks who are essentially using their tiny home as a beach house.
Yes, I love this house. It's so cute.
And we also have 10 nightly rentals. And then sprinkled in between the tiny homes, we've got several vintage trailers as well. I decided on the park here in Walport, Oregon, which is on the Central Oregon coast. It wasn't an accident. I'd been coming down to this stretch of the coast for a number of years with my family and just really have always been in love with the natural beauty of this stretch of the coast. The property where the park is located now was the site of a nursery, a large commercial and retail nursery that was in business for decades. It unfortunately went out of business during the last downturn, so in 2012, and really just started falling apart for the next 4 years or so until I bought it from the bank in 2016. When I bought the property, I honestly didn't know what I was going to do with it. I just thought that it would be a great site for something, and I kicked around a bunch of other crazy ideas, maybe even crazier than the tiny home park idea, before I decided that this is really what I wanted to do, that I wanted to create a community here.
This man for me seems clever. Yes, smart. And I like his voice, and also I like his thoughts. For me it seems what he knows what he wants to say us. And also I think what his minds are clear, his thoughts are clean. Yes, maybe I'm wrong about it. It is just my suggestion.
To create the tiny home park, it was almost like a complete redo. I mean, I did repurpose a couple of the buildings, but in terms of the site, none of the infrastructure was usable. So we had to completely scrape, in some cases 2-3 feet off of the site to create the park, put in all the infrastructure, the power, the water, the septic system. I've got a fairly massive septic system with an acre of drain field. But even before the development period, there was about a year of the planning phase where I had to go through a very lengthy process with the planning department in Lincoln County to get them to approve the park. I would never say that was an easy process because, as I'm sure a lot of tiny home folks have experienced, the local planners really don't know what to do with tiny homes, don't know what to make of them. Are they RVs? Are they homes? Do the building codes apply? And so there was plenty of occasions along this journey where I didn't think it was going to happen because there was a bunch of derailers along the way, and we had to navigate our way through those.
Yes.
So technically,
and also I want to say what I think, of course it was difficult process building this village, building this community. And when I think about tiny houses, I think about ideas of minimalism. Yes, and also you can find there some philosophy. And I think not everyone can live in a little space. And this man did a really great work.
this is approved by the county and is an RV park, so all the tiny homes here have to be on wheels, and they've got to be built in conformance with nationally recognized RV standards. In sort of traditional RV parks, I mean, of course there's a whole spectrum. There's some real nice ones and there's some ones that aren't so nice, but in a lot of them, the RVs are very close to each other. And so when we conceptualized the park and designed the park, instead of sort of packing them in, we wanted to give each site more space than you might find in sort of a traditional RV park. So the whole idea when the park was conceptualized was that if you were going to be in a tiny home, it'd be really nice to have some other spaces, some other areas within the park where you could stretch your legs, get together with people, and really just have some shared space that was much bigger than the space you might have in your tiny home. This is our greenhouse, whole bunch of different stuff going on in here because it is a 12,000 square foot space. Actually, when we got the park, this was about a 40,000 square foot greenhouse because again, it was a nursery in its prior life. So we contracted it down to about 12,000 square feet. So you can see we've got a mail slot, and this is where their package deliveries come. We've also got a little giveaway table that just sort of started up organically, so people, the stuff which as they're downsizing and want to get rid of stuff, it goes to the giveaway table first. Over here we've got our community bikes. Just this past spring we put in some fitness equipment for use both by.
Yes, please clean shoes. Only adults, only no pets, okay.
The residents, the folks who are living here, as well as our nightly guests. We're renting this space out to a glass blower. So he's just putting his shop together, and hopefully within the next month or two he'll actually start blowing glass, and we've talked about him displaying his work throughout the park as well. I'm hoping that he maybe has classes and stuff like that for people in the community, and I think I've been kind of selective about who's going to come in here. It's got to be something that really fits with the community. Some formal storage for the folks who are living here. So if they've downsized from a much bigger space but still need a spot to store some stuff either in the short term or long term, then we've got that available for them. This is our community garden, and we're Helen Denton, who really has done everything in here. I wish I could take credit for it, but I can't. She's really made this garden space a really awesome space for our nightly guests and the folks living here. Helen has her microgreens business. You can see some of the trays over there called Little Swiss Farms. She's been here since we first opened in July of 2018. And basically, people want to come here and grab some collard greens or some chard or whatever. We do ask that they contribute or volunteer in the garden or make a voluntary donation, which we then put back into the garden. So this is our Doug Fir Lodge. This was a storage building for the nursery when we took over the property. The roof had collapsed And really, we had to completely revamp the building. So we did a bunch of structural work. We put in 3 new trusses. Again, this is another, I call it the shared living room. You can see here we've got a wood-burning stove with a nice seating area.
When I'm watching this space, common space, of course I love this style, but I'm thinking about temperature in the winter in this building, because I'm living in Russia, and it's not secret what sometimes we have a cold winter, and we should remember about temperature. And yes, here we have this stuff. Yes, I get it. But anyway, I think it is really important to have warm temperature in entire this space, not only in one place. For me, it is really important, of course. Yes.
So people living here, and actually the nightly guests have access to free laundry in here. We've got a TV room in here. Again, some people don't have a TV within their tiny home, so we wanted to give them the opportunity, if they have a game or a show they feel they have to watch, then they do have an opportunity to do that within a shared common space. Ping pong pool table, again available to everybody, a lot of games, and then we've got a little library area over here. So we've got folks who live here contributing their own books to that. I got a bunch of boxes out of my own attic. And again, just a space where people can grab a book, take it for a couple weeks, bring it back, contribute their own books.
Yes, I want to have, sorry, I must speak a little, yes, because it is a better word. But anyway, I want to have own library. It is wonderful to have a space where you can relax and read. And maybe one day I will have a own tiny house, because I live in village, and it will be wonderful if I will build for myself this little space where I can be with myself, to read, to relax, and etc. It is really a great idea.
So then this is our outdoor space. During the summer, we typically have some more seating out here. This is where we get together for community-wide potlucks. We have 2 grills that everybody can use, a lot of nice big trees, and just a nice space to come out when the weather's nice and just relax and eat and get together with friends and family. So this is our Redwood Commons. I wanted to have a building that had some ocean views. Some people in their tiny homes don't have an oven, as an example, to be able to cook a turkey or something like that on Thanksgiving. And so we have a fully stocked kitchen up there that anybody in the community or our nightly renter guests can use. All right, well, this is the area in Tiny Tranquility where we have most of our nightly rentals. We wanted to congregate them together and put them close to some of our common facilities, so they're right next to our Redwood Commons, about a 5-minute walk to the beach. We're up to about 35 tiny homes here, and there's a few that are the same, but by and large they're all different. And I think you'll see that within our nightly rentals as well. This one here we call the Driftwood. The shingles on that tiny home came off an old Masonic lodge, and then we have some newer tiny homes as well. Just a good variety, I think a good representation of what you might see within the tiny home realm, if you will. So we've got a combination of tiny homes and then 3 vintage trailers. It's sort of a weird combination you probably don't see very often, but that was really just on me. I really like old vintage trailers. I think aesthetically they're much more beautiful than the newer ones. No criticism of the newer ones, but I just like the old ones.
I want to say what I think what living in a tiny house in little space not for everyone, because it is one thing when you're living in a small house from despair, and it is another thing when you live in a tiny house because it is your choice. Yes, we can find here differences, of course.
My name is Katie Wiley, and I am one of the owners of Stagecoach. And we are in the Dunes, which is a 1975 Airstream located right here at tiny Tranquility Park. It is available for nightly rental and Airbnb. So we started renovating trailers many years ago just for fun. But we had done enough that we actually decided that maybe we should do this for a living. So we got our dealer's license to buy and sell vintage trailers. The owner of Tiny Tranquility actually called us and he said, "I'm developing a park. Could you do my trailers for the park?" We couldn't believe it. It was just days in from starting our business, and the rest is history. Here we are now. So altogether, there are 4 Stagecoach trailers here. We saw someone putting a for sale sign on this beautiful Airstream right across the street from our house, and it said $1,000. We thought, no way, that's not right. But I made my husband turn around, and sure enough, they were duct taping a sign to the exterior of this beautiful trailer, and it said $1,000. So we swooped in and grabbed it that very moment, and here it is at Tiny Tranquility. It was really important that we had a space that anyone could feel at home in to make breakfast, lunch, dinner. So we have a 3-burner stove, a sink large enough to do dishes for pots and pans, plenty of storage space. We also transformed this area into a twin bed. It's a custom mattress, but we wanted to create a space that could double as a sofa area. So you could put the pillows back here, have a seat, watch TV. If you are a family staying in here, there's an extra bed for a guest or children, as well as the main bed up front.
I love this style, really love. And interesting for me, how much she spent on this house money. Yes.
On this side of the 1975 Airstream, we have a large bar top that can double as a workspace, whether you're here for vacation or for work. There's plenty of room. We also have a sandy colored laminate flooring that we wanted to put in here to mimic the sandy tones of the Oregon coast. We have really fun maps here of our town of Waldport that have been burned to look like old treasure maps. Just some fun coastal touches throughout. Let me show you the bathroom here in the back. Back here we have a full tile shower with beautiful hexagon tiles. We have a flushing toilet and a beautiful tiny pedestal sink. Up front here, we have the bedroom area, and one of the only original features of this vintage trailer, because it was in such poor condition when we bought it, is this beautiful clock area, which is iconic to all Airstreams.
Had people and still have people coming here from all over the country, many of whom had never lived in a tiny home before. And so I think, it's evolved quite a bit in terms of just the community coming together. I'd say that's not something that I had necessarily put a lot of thought into when I was planning the park. I was so focused on getting the park done, I didn't necessarily think about, okay, what's the playbook for trying to make this a living, breathing community. I just sort of assumed and hoped that it would happen organically. And I think initially that sort of happened in fits and starts, but now I really feel as though it's coming together like the community that I envisioned it would.
Wonderful, really wonderful.
I've also thought about doing a second park. I don't have any particular plans at this point, but I have looked at a few properties. It seems as though there's really quite a demand for parks of this type. I think if they're done right. There's plenty of people who want to be, by themselves in their own tiny home, but there's also, I think, a lot of people who like the safety and comfort of having some neighbors and enjoying that community piece as well.
Tune in next week as we come back to Tiny Tranquility to take a tour of one resident's unique tiny home. Also, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week.
Yes, I'm really glad what I watched this video, and I think I love this idea because this at first living in tiny houses at first it is about idea of minimalism, I think so. And if you live with neighbors in tiny houses, it means it is idea of community. And also, of course, you can find people who have similar ideas what you have, and it is a great opportunity for communicate in sharing space. Yes, I think it is really interesting, and I hope what for you it was interesting to watch this video with me. Yes, I'm really glad what our channel has become larger. Yes, I'm really excited about this, and you can leave a like and subscribe to me. I appreciate it very much, and of course, see you next time.